The Pittsburgh Steelers got a major boost in their hope for a Super Bowl run in 2023, and it comes in the form of a backup quarterback. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbein. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/allsteelerstalk and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Today, we're talking about the words of Mitch Trubisky. Let's listen.
When did you have an idea that it was coming together? Because I know Omar said something on the McAfee show and that put everybody's into that, but what about your timeline?
It was like a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, it kind of came to fruition. So they've been in talks with my agent. I love the idea, so it was just they handle the contract talks, and I play football. So I'm just happy to be here.
Mitch, what do you love about being here? What is it that fits you?
It's the family atmosphere. It's the teammates. It's the people. It's just a great fit for me and my family. We just love everything about it. I love Coach T, Omar, Mr. Rooney and his family. It's just a special place to be a part of. We just got really close as a team last year with all these teammates, and I just felt like I want to be here for the next 3 years. So when they asked me to, it was an easy decision.
How about your connection with Kenny? Just how did that relationship evolve
For
over
sure.
last season? What are you trying to do in your role to help him be successful?
That's huge as well. I just wanted to come back because me and Kenny have gotten so close, and I just want to help him in any way I can. So we got a really great quarterback room. We love having Mason back too. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to get to work. So anything I could be for Kenny, soundboard, extra coach, extra eyes on the field, I'm going to be there for him, and he knows that. So I think that's also why they wanted to have me back to be in that role and help any way I can. So I'm excited about it.
Mitch coming out and openly saying how excited he is to continue his role in Pittsburgh and to take on a mentorship role with Kenny Pickett gives you so many good vibes. Mitch now comes to Pittsburgh, or stays in Pittsburgh, I should say, as a guy who is going to do exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted him to do, exactly why they decided to keep him around. Omar Khan didn't praise the mentorship of Mitch Trubisky or talk about how they're willing to keep a $10 million cap hit with him this season before his extension, just because they felt like if they had anybody in the room, he could help Kenny Pickett. Truthfully, though, they could have anybody in the room, and he would have helped Kenny Pickett. The reason they wanted Mitch is because that chemistry worked so well. Kenny raved about Mitch all season long last year. He talked about how much help he was on the field, off the field, how close they got as friends. Then Mitch talks about how close their fiancés and their wives have gotten in the last year. These two have a bond. And Mitch Trubisky now, a former second overall pick, a guy who probably could have at least competed for some type of role on another NFL team, or at least waited for an injury to happen and then go take advantage of a role elsewhere, is now looking at the next stage of his NFL life. He's now looking at this opportunity, an opportunity in Pittsburgh, and saying, Mike Tomlin's the best coach to play for. This organization is the best organization to play for. I like the guy playing in front of me, and I have an opportunity to make an impact without being on the field. And that impact is significant. Mitch Trubisky kind of taking on that leadership role, that mentorship role, gives you very, very strong Charlie Batch, Brian St. Pierre, Tommy Maddox, Byron Leftwich feels. Those guys that Ben Roethlisberger talked about his entire career, of those veterans that were there early that helped him succeed, that gave him the tools and the keys to success, and all he had to do was follow. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted Mitch Trubisky to do after conversations, after contract talks, after meetings with his agent. The overall consensus, the final product of Mitch Trubisky in Pittsburgh is exactly that. He's a man who understands his role, who accepts his opportunity, and is looking at this season and saying, I can make an impact on the Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl run. And I think he makes a huge impact on whatever hopes of a championship you have for this team. What Mitch Trubisky does is not just mentor Kenny, but he allows Kenny to ride a roller coaster with somebody who's also ridden that roller coaster. Mitch has had the up and down career, but he's also had success. He's found his way to the playoffs. He's taken an absolutely terrible Chicago Bears team, one with one of the worst head coaches in the last decade, to the playoffs and somehow made magic out of that. Now you're going to come in here, year 2 for Kenny Pickett, which I've talked about a dozen times and will continue to talk about it again. opens the Super Bowl window for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Year 2 of a rookie deal is prime time to begin to work towards a championship. If you're going to win a Super Bowl, you're going to win it with a young QB year 2 to year 4. That's Kenny Pickett. Now he has Mitch Trubisky to lean on. And not only that, but he has Mitch Trubisky to lean on, who is willing and open to work with Kenny Pickett, who truly, truly wants to be a mentor to a second-year quarterback. This isn't the Steelers are going to keep him around, but maybe he doesn't want to be here. My thoughts on the whole situation were, if I'm Mitch Trubisky, I'm taking this money, and then next year I'm out. No, he wants to be in that role. That's huge. Kenny could be as cautious as possible, or the Steelers can be as cautious as possible with Kenny Pickett this season. They could look at him and they could say, hey, this is a guy that we don't really want to take all the breaks off of, but we want him to lead us places. That's why they kept Mitch Trubisky. That's why they kept Matt Canada. That's why they souped up the offensive line. That's why they added Allen Robinson and Darnell Washington. That's why they brought back Jaylen Warren for 3 more years and said, now we have 2 running backs. We don't even have to worry about it anymore. That's why their offensive draft was offensive, even though they had more defensive holes that needed to be filled, because their splash, their big names in the NFL draft were superstars to finish their offensive line, to finish their tight end room, to add weapons to Kenny Pickett. The whole offseason, everything they've done has been centered around building a team that's designed to run how Kenny runs. This team moves and succeeds how Kenny succeeds. And to have a veteran presence now, a mentor, somebody who is there to work with you through the ups and the downs and to see what you can produce on the field and talk you through it, another set of eyes. And there are never too many eyes when they are experienced and knowledgeable. That's priceless. What the Steelers got in a guy who is now cheaper for their cap hit in 2023 is unmatched. And I give Mitch Trubisky all the credit in the world, because standing there listening to him yesterday talk about how much he wanted to help Kenny and talk about how he is embracing this role and he sees the opportunity for Kenny and he wants him to get better. I mean, my thought immediately went, this guy is a leader and he's embracing the next chapter of his NFL life. And that could lead to his first Super Bowl. It could. He could be part of this, and nobody 10 years from now is going to acknowledge that Mitch Trubisky had a hand in doing all of this. But if the Steelers go and pull this off, if the magic happens and all the greatness occurs for this team in 2023 or even 2024, Mitch Trubisky plays a role, and it's a significant one. And it's one that in the moment you cannot overlook. And one day it'll fade and nobody will talk about it anymore. But right here, right now, in my eyes, a bit of a hero for the Pittsburgh Steelers and somebody that gained a ton of respect in my eyes.